Hey players, this is Friaza, and today I'll be doing scripting tutorial 1, which will be dot attached and other miscellaneous stuff, bits in higher quality than the original version, since I've gotten better at video recording and such. So before I go into functions and all that, there's a lot of basics I feel I should cover. So yeah, open up ROBLOX Studio by going into ROBLOX Studio 2013, and going into build mode. Edit mode won't show you your player, so you'll float around as a camera, which can do this, but I prefer build mode. If you prefer edit mode, then by all means use that. So yeah, to get this interface up, Explorer, and this is property, you go into View, Explorer, View, Properties, and View Output also gives you a wee window here, which whenever a script runs or something is printed, as shown in tutorial 0 I believe, it will go in output. And I'm just going to disable that command bar because I don't use it. I actually never used the command bar until yesterday. I don't even know what it does, to be honest. Okay, so click in workspace and insert basic object parts. And it will, when you type part, it will take you to it, so you don't need to search for it, and press enter or double click on it to insert it into your workspace. When you click in a folder, as you might have already guessed, or an object or whatnot, it will give you a list of objects that apply to that object. In this case, this is a model, so it will take out stuff like fire or smoke and stuff, and give you more useful searches that you're more likely to use, which is quite handy. So yeah, now we have part. So what we're going to do with part is, we'll first give it a different colour, that's for sure, and then we're going to anchor the part. So if you don't know to anchor, in case you can't even see the anchor button in the first place, you go into View Toolbars and enable all this stuffs, like Tools, Test, View Tools, and you should be able to see all this. Drag it around a little until you have a good setup, if you haven't already. The anchor button's this wee anchor, if you haven't guessed that by now. So yeah, I'm just going to make this linear because I don't like it all diagonal like that. Or maybe it was me that's diagonal. Done, done, done. And we're going to insert a script into this part. So click on script and enter or double click, and it will say hello world, and also print hello world in output, which can also be printed like this, as I prefer it. And to make that run, you can either cut and paste the script back into part, but that's risky because you might cut the script out and then copy the part and then lose your script. So I prefer to disable and enable it. And there we have two more hello world. Although mine doesn't have an exclamation mark, not an exclamation mark. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make the part move up and down with a loop. I think I covered that in the last tutorial, but oh no, yeah, yes I did. Okay, then what I'm going to do is rotate it, and well, I'll move it then rotate it. So for my loop, I'm just going to call it loop for loop equals 10 repetitions. So we'll go from 1 repetition to 10 repetitions. Do wait 0.05 or 1/20th, which is 1/20th of a second, end. And we're going to tag script.parent as x equals script.parent, script referring to the script in lowercase because it's this script, not as in scripts in an object. Like if there was a script in Workspace which was called script the same name as this, you would call it script with a capital letter, but if it's the script which is what you're talking about, like if we were referring to this object that we are writing in, this script, as a script, we wouldn't call it script with a capital letter, we call it lowercase script, because that's just how Roblox works. It's to stop any confusion if there's multiple scripts in the part. Okay, so in the loop we're going to x dot CFrame equals x dot CFrame plus vector 3 dot new 0 0.10. And the reason we anchored the brick is and we're using CFrame as the position is because if you use position it'll be teleporting all over the place, and if it's not anchored it will fall out the map and stuff and glitch out, so we don't want that. So yeah, if we were using position it would be this x dot position plus vector 3 dot new 0 0.10. So there we go. Position has its own uses, but I use CFrame for most things. And now our brick is levitated a little. And now that it's levitated, now onto CFrame.Angles, since we have more room to rotate it. x.CFrame equals x.CFrame times CFrame.Angles 0 0.10. Well, it's the same as vector 3.new really, it's just I'll explain this wee bit. What we're doing is we're making it CFrame equals CFrame, so it stays the same for the most part, so that it doesn't teleport away. If we yes, it's self-explanatory. But anyway, this wee icon here, the asterisk, I get it by holding Shift and pressing 8, but your keyboard may be different, but the logo should appear beside the letter or above it. So this means times, and then this is CFrame.Angles, which means it's equaling its CFrame times the new angles, 0 to the x, 0.1 to the y, and 0 to the z. So there's nothing more I can explain about that, but it might just take a bit of messing around with to get used to. Let's give it 25 repetitions. And change it to 1/25 of a fifth of a second, which you might prefer this weight system, or like this one. It's really up to your personal preference. And now we have a rotating brick. And let's keep it going a little longer. Well, anyway, I covered loops in general in the last tutorial, so I'm not going to spend too long in that. Now I've covered position, CFrame, and angles. So what I'm going to go into next is clone, the inbuilt function, and search. Inbuilt functions are functions that are inbuilt into Roblox itself, which are things like this. Clone, find first child, remove. Yeah, anyway, clone's the point. I'm not going to write out a list and get player from character and all that. So let's see. Maybe workspace. Nah, we'll keep the script in here. Okay. X equals script dot parent clone, which means it's not script dot parent this time. It is a clone of script dot parent. X dot parent equals workspace. What? Start script re-entrance exceeded 3. Oh, sorry, I was just getting distracted. I thought my script had errored there, but there was no way of making it. Okay, so it does work fine. Anyway, clones well, it clones whatever you cloned. That's all there really is to say. For example, it's useful for things like in my Naruto game for like double Rasengan. What I did is I made one Rasengan, then I cloned it, welded the first Rasengan onto the left hand, welded the second Rasengan onto the right hand, and that's it done. It means that you don't need to make everything twice. Another use you can do is if you make a battle game, what you can do is insert basic objects tool, and okay, let's part and call that part handle, and make it a ball which is blue, and call it Rasengan. Okay, so we have let's say this is a battle game and we have Rasengan in our lighting folder, and what we want to do is give players a tool when they touch a brick, like here. And people have asked me about this a lot, so I guess this is a good time to cover it. So I'll anchor this, recolor it, and let's make another thingy here, and this will be invisible, and we're going to give it the name Naruto Teleport, and we're going to make it non-CanClide. God, I can't find evidence to do for 2013. Oh, here it is. CanClide, but it's still anchored, so yeah. We'll put it way up here so that you don't run into it, because if you run into an un-CanClided brick that's invisible, even though it's all those things, you can still sometimes kind of jump on it, which is annoying. I didn't exactly. Oh, I thought I dragged it or something. Anyway, so we insert a script into part. And this is where function untouched comes in. I mean, sorry, function.touched. Okay, to clarify this immediately, it is dot touched. Like every function that's not on touched, like on activated, all that, it's dot touched, dot activated, because the on bit's just your function name. The dot touched is the connection line. So yeah, function. I'm not going to call it untouched. Part. Int part will refer to whatever is touched. I'll quickly write this out and then explain it all. Function Naruto convert part. What this does is whenever you want to declare a function, you put function here and it will appear in blue, assuming you've typed it correctly. And then, oh yeah, here's the minus thing I was talking about in one of my tutorials, like the one tutorial where I was trying to explain that this is how you know that you need an. Anyway, Naruto convert is the name of a function, and part. Sometimes functions have a wee bracket thingy here, and you can declare something that relates to the function in this wee bracket thingy. If you forget which function, usually it's player or something, like it will tag the player in this wee bracket closure. But you can always look up dot touched function in Roblox LU wiki, and it will give you the laydown on that. But for dot touched, it is part, which is a name. This just names what we're calling the part that is touched. And here script.parent.touched. This bit here is what is touched. We could do game.workspace.baseplate.touched. It would do the same thing with the baseplate. And then we have excuse me, connect, which connects the function to Naruto giver. Bad habit, sorry. I'm really trying to get the habit of calling every function on, and it connects it to the function name so that it knows it's this one, because we could have like multiple multiple functions like this. like here. So when the base plate's touched, it will connect the untouched function here, which will call everything I touched it. So if your left foot touches the base plate, the script here will call it like I touched it, so that you can change its properties like this, like I touched it dot transparency equals 1. I'm just going to get rid of this though. Just wanted to get the multiple function idea in your head right off the bat, because it took me like a year to learn multiple functions. I was like, wait, you can have more than one function? But aside from that, okay, maybe not a year, but you know what I mean. Well, close to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to clone, let's see, reccomend from the lighting folder and give it to the player's backpack. And then we're going to teleport to the player and disable the script. So without further ado, let's do that. Equals game.lighting, which refers to the lighting folder if you haven't guessed that by now. Reccomend clone. I'll call it R for short. It's good to keep them short, but don't keep it so short that you forget what it is. That's the number one mistake of a scripter / programmer, in my opinion. R.parent equals, and before we give it a parent, we're going to tag that parent. Not here, we can't tag it here. This is where part comes in handy. Part will be your like head or left leg or torso or arms, right leg. It'll be one of those parts, which means that part.parents will always be when we touch it. Well, left arm, right leg, all those stuff. Their parents has one thing in common. They're all you. Yes, you. So that's how you tag the player's character. God, I can't speak today. Except we don't want it to go inside the character, because that will mean it's equipped and it might not even work that way. So this is where another inbuilt function comes in handy. We want to get the player from the character. So what we're going to do before this is we're going to do this. Jar equals part.parents player, and then we're so we don't have any errors, we're going to do this. If game.players get player from character part.parent is not equal to nil, then there we go. Oh, I want it all in one line. Then end. And I hope you watched like tutorial 0, because it will come in handy here. What this does is that, well, this is an if statement. It means that this code will only activate if the condition is met. You can add multiple conditions by saying and then adding another statement, but without the if, because you've already added an if. So yeah, this will search the game.players folder, which is like the lighting folder and all that workspace, and it will search for the player of your character, basically something with the same name. But this is really handy, so that if there's loads of like NPCs with the same name as you, like let's say you want to make a Naruto game and there's loads of shadow clones with your name running around and your enemy's trying to attack you, you don't want the genjutsu to hit shadow clones, do you? Because like, let's say your genjutsu uses like GUI and whatnot. The like your shadow clones won't have a player or a player GUI to put the GUI into. So you only want it to hit real players, and that's where this comes in handy. So yeah, and part.parent is what we're getting the player from character of. So it will for me, part.parent will be Friaza here, the model in workspace, and we're searching for that model's name and players, and that's pretty much all it is. And this is not equal to nil. I explained that in my 0 tutorial. So yeah, so if it exists, basically, if it's not equal to nothing, which it means it is existent. And now we can get on with this. Well, we should probably first do this. Player equal game.players. You can copy and paste this bit. I just like to check it exists first, to avoid errors. And that's tagged as player now, so we can tag the player's backpack in a second. So R being Rasengan, r.parent equals player.backpack. There we go. And assuming your tools don't change walk speed, you could also use char to your advantage. Char.humanoid.max health equals health, and above here we're going to tag health as 100. Name equals Naruto. No, hey, 150. Speed equals 50. Char.humanoid.health equals health. Char.humanoid.walk speed equals 50. Well, we char.chai. Okay, just so I don't spell this wrong, because it's pure cramping. I'm going to close output. Let's see. Why is this so spaced out? Where do my archivables at? Oh, here it is. Archivable equals error false. Char dot name equals name. So yeah, let's teleport the player after this too. There. And I'm going to indent this code here for efficiency. So to move the player, we're going to use move to, which is used often to move characters, because that's real use. Char move to game.workspace. Oh yeah. Teleport equals game.workspace. What did we call it again? The teleport workspace. Naruto teleport. Naruto teleport. Okay, so what this does, I'm adding these variables for a reason. It means that if you have like multiple characters and you want to all have different speeds, teleports, locations, names, and health, you can give it to them here. But I'm going to take out the name bit because that will cause problems. Yeah, naming your characters, there's a lot of complications with it. Yeah, you could name the tool Naruto if you wanted to, which. But this is in the basis though. Presumption that it's a tool based game, so you would have multiple tools, but in my game, which I have one tool named like the character's name, and then I name the scripts different names. But anyway, that's aside the point. Let's test this. It will probably have at least one error. We want to view output again so that we can see our errors. Oh yeah, one thing we have to do as well, sorry, is this is kind of efficient, but I can't be bothered adding a debounce right now. It's false. and I'm going to add a wee delay here. Oh no, we want them. Yeah, let's go. It's always worked for me anyway, so. There we go. I have Rasengan and I teleported, but one thing I'm curious about is what was that lag there? Peculiar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable it at this very start of the script, and this is probably for better efficiency, so that it's not running multiple times until a condition is met. That's one thing you should do. If you notice that your code is running slowly, optimise it. And yeah, there we get Rasengan and we're teleported to location with faster walk speed and health. So yeah, I should probably explain this a bit more, shouldn't I? I explained what these were. These are variables, and this health variable is 150, which means that health can be tagged as 150. So these health things actually mean 150 here. It's like nicknames basically. It's like nicknaming your friend 150 health. And this, well, I call it tagging, but it tags game.workspace and to teleport as teleport, another nickname here. That's really all there is to it, nicknames. It just takes a while to get your head around it really, and it means we can tag them throughout the rest of the script, but make sure it's at the top of the script and not inside the script. If you want to, if you're going to have multiple functions, then I guess you should put it inside the function for optimization, but this is scripting, not programming, so we don't really need to worry about that stuff right now. Unless you're doing like some gigantic script, then I advise putting these variables inside the function, but I always like them out the function. Unless it's going to be like a really long script, then by all means it's better to put them inside the function. What we're doing here is wait, have I explained everything already? Okay. Well yeah, script disables, tags your model in workspace as char. It searches the players folder for your character, and if it exists, it tags player as your player in the players folder got from your character in the workspace folder. Then it tags Rasengan from the lighting folder, clones it, and puts the clone of Rasengan in your backpack. Then it changes your health to whatever's up here, your speed to whatever is up here, and then moves you to game.workspace.narrow-to-teleport.vision as oh wait, I just realised we did that. I meant to say teleport.position because we already tagged this in the first place. So yeah, that's really all there is to that. Yep. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments. I hope the tutorial was helpful, and goodbye players.